Today we're unboxing the AOC USB C Monitor. Now, it's been a while since I've unboxed anything on this channel, but something came up the other day where I really wish that I had had a portable external monitor. Now, we've got tons of monitors all over this office that we can set up, but sometimes I want something a little bit more portable, whether I'm going to a client site war room or if I'm just going to a meeting and I'm not sure if I'm going to need to show something on an external monitor or not. Like, for example, if I'm going to suddenly pop into a TrialPad demo or something along those lines. So I thought having something like this, which doesn't require me to bring a power strip, an extension cord, and a big case to carry a monitor like this one around to me might be useful. So I thought I'd order one of these, and I ordered it on Amazon, and here it is, the USB-C monitor. I'm not going to do like a full kind of overhead shot unboxing because I think it's 2019 and we don't really need that kind of thing anymore. We're over that. And a couple of things that I'm not sure about are what comes with this box. Now, I took a look at it. I think that there's some cables that are in it, but I'm not sure if it's going to be a USB-C to USB-C cable or a USB-A to USB-C cable, so that's something I'm going to be looking for. And I'm going to be looking to test out the included stand. So let's take a look at that. So we've got a driver that comes on a CD. What? Anyway, we got that, and here's the cable, and it is a USB-C to USB-C cable, so that's pretty nice. I'm glad that's included. I'd be surprised, if it weren't. But it's nice that it's a USB-C to USB-C cable. I think that's very useful. And then we've got the monitor itself, which is very light, and it's basically just a monitor. 1080p, not touchscreen, but I don't really care for touchscreen. And it comes with a stand/cover, which I thought was really useful. So let's see if it in fact is useful. So the way that the cover goes on is like this, and it covers the front of the screen, so you can toss it in a bag, don't have to worry about damage. But then when you actually want to use it, there's a couple of ways it goes together. One way is like this, so you've got it in the stand, and it's magnetic, so you can kind of change the angle. I think it probably goes this way. So now I can change the angle to a variety of different heights and viewing ranges. So if I want to go down lower, higher, I can do it that way, or I guess I could flip it over and do it this way. So a couple of different options. That's nice, but I also like that it can go vertical. Let's do it this way. That to me is nice because then I can read documents on it. So let's get this thing fired up. First, I'm going to take all this plastic off. And the first thing that I'll test is whether I can connect an iPad to it. Let's go this way and set it up. So all the power and the video signals are transmitted through this USB-C cable. That is one really great thing about USB-C, is that it has high throughput, so it can handle things like power and video signal and data at the same time. So let's get our iPad Pro out and just make sure that it does what I hope it does. So just one cable. Let's turn this on. And the iPad is recognizing something. Let's turn on TrialPad. It has recognized an external monitor. And let's try to present. And there we go. It's a little bit of glare in here. There we go. But you could see it is at least taking up as much of the four corners as the iPad can. There's a little bit of overscan going on here, but I've already done a video about that, so you guys know how I feel about that. But it's working pretty well. I like it. It looks good. All right. I like that. That's really nice. But the other thing that I thought it would be useful to use this for, in addition to something like, I can bring this to a conference room, and if I'm doing a very small group training, I could just put this into war room mode, open up my iPad, and I can look at something while showing this to someone else. So that's a nice kind of training use case for this. Now, the other thing that I want to use this for is not necessarily with an iPad, but with a laptop. So let's say that I am taking this to court and I don't have an external monitor near wherever I happen to be sitting. Maybe it's an extremely small courtroom, or there's other logistical issues that prevent me from being able to display or sit next to a duplicate display of what's going on. And here already I'm seeing this is a duplicate of my monitor, and what I can do is I can not only duplicate what's on my monitor, but if I need to, I can extend the displays. So now I see here's monitor number 2, and now I'm on monitor number 1. But if I am going to use it this way as a way of me being able to show stuff in court and have a monitor near me, which is kind of important if you're using OnCue, at least under the current version of OnCue. The ultimate goal is I still need to be able to connect to the AV projection system. So let's get our HDMI cable out and see if I can still reliably output to 2 monitors. I don't think that this should be a problem, but let's see if it is in fact a problem or not. And right now I'm still seeing an image here on my external monitor, and I'm mirroring to the monitor over here. And let me show you guys what I'm looking at. And so what I've got here is, let me just move this over. I've actually got 3 separate monitors over here. So here is the farthest, this is monitor 2 back over here. And then if I move over to monitor 3, now I'm on monitor 3, and then back over here, now I'm looking at the mouse on monitor 1. That's not necessarily how I want to have it set up. How I'd like to have it set up is so that way monitors 3 and 2 are all replicating the same thing, so that way I can see, you know, what the jurors are seeing and vice versa in terms of my extended display. So all I have to do is come down here, and then I can duplicate on 2 and 3. Oh, it won't let me do that. Let's see what it'll let me do. So now it's showing my desktop on 1 and 3. So the jurors would be seeing my desktop. That's not what I want. Let's try this on 1 and 2. That's not what I wanted either. And I was afraid that this might happen. And so what we still have is 1 and 3. So now I'm seeing what's on my desktop, you're seeing what's on my desktop right now, and the jurors are seeing another monitor altogether. So that's not ideal. What I want is for the same image to go on monitors 2 and 3. I think what I'm going to ultimately need, unfortunately, is another piece of hardware.
A few moments later.
Okay, so quick update. I've been trying to make it so that way this monitor and this monitor are duplicating the same thing. There's nothing in the settings that lets me do that. Although I felt like in prior versions of Windows, I was able to kind of mix and match whatever monitors that I want. So I'm not sure why I'm limited to that. I even went as far as busting out a 4-port HDMI splitter amplifier, thinking that I'll just send out one signal from the laptop into this device and have 2 HDMI signals come out. But then I had the problem, I had to convert an HDMI signal to USB-C, and no matter what adapters I threw at it, it wouldn't work. I even tried plugging it in through a USB hub so I could charge and send an HDMI signal to this monitor, and it just wouldn't work. So I'm not sure if there is a way to replicate from this Dell, I don't know if it's just this Dell or all Windows PCs, a duplicate image to 2 external monitors at the same time, at least not from 2 different USB-C ports and not from a single HDMI switch. Now, I think perhaps if this were not a USB-C monitor and like a powered external monitor, like the kind that have like those micro HDMI connections, that might work. But this one in its current incarnation, it's not working. And I was actually thinking, there might be something on this that lets me do that. So I'll take a deep dive into that at some other time. But to keep this unboxing and kind of first experience video moving along, the next thing I'm going to do is rotate this thing sideways. And it's not pretty because then I have this kind of sticking up on the top. And I'm not sure how to avoid that. But at least now I can look at this in portrait. And let's say I'm pulling up a window here, and let's just go to Google, And now I can set this to portrait, although now right now it's not giving me portrait until I go back to my display settings. So now we've got a nice long space to work with. So if I'm reviewing documents, I'm looking at a really long outline, and I want to create either a presentation notebook or work on my depth designations. I have a lot more real estate to work with. So that's something that I can do when I'm in either a war room or some other mobile type setting where I need that extra monitor. I think this thing will be handy. I'll probably bring it with me for my next trial. I don't think I'll bring it with me to the courtroom, but it is something that I will probably set up in the war room where I'm working, especially because I think that this cover/stand mechanism, I think, is a relatively elegant and simple solution for not only protecting the monitor itself, but also for setting it up so that I can use it in a couple of different flexible and convenient ways. So that's my first look at the AOC USB C external monitor 1080. It's not quite as bright as I'd like, but for the kinds of things that I'm going to be using it for, I think it's going to work out just right. That's all I have for today's video, and if you have any questions about this external monitor, feel free to leave them in the comments. I am going to check into the driver settings, which I just still think is just absolutely phenomenal that a USB-C external monitor is being given drivers that are on a DVD disc when the USB-C laptop that I'm going to use the monitor with, or the iPad that I'm going to be using the monitor with, don't have CD-ROM drives anymore. Anyway, I'll see if that has any additional insights or benefits. If I do, I'll update it in the description, and I might even make a follow-up video. But until then, thanks so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.